What did a teacher say that made your mom shut the whole school down? We were in geometry class when Mrs. Patterson asked a question, but no one seemed to know the answer. So for the first time since I started my new school, I had the courage to raise my hand and answer a question. But it was a big mistake, because Mrs. Patterson then looked at me and said, "Yes, Maria." I looked around, confused, wondering if she was talking to someone else, but everyone stared at me instead. Then I told her that wasn't my name, but she just chuckled and said she thought I was the janitor's kid. I didn't get it until everyone in the class started laughing and pointing fingers at me. That's when my eyes got teary and I ran out of the class. So my mom and I had just moved to a new place, and I had started going to a new school because it was very close to the house, just about a week ago. I ate lunch alone, had no friends, and I definitely had no idea who the janitor was. The rest, whenever I passed by a group of students, someone would whisper Maria and the rest would laugh. Others would ask, "How's your dad?" and chuckle. I ran to the school basement and cried the rest of the day. But after school, I found out that the school's janitor was this old man with large stains on his uniform. Students avoided him, and some teachers even acted like he smelled. But the worst part, he didn't have any children. The teacher was just mocking me. By the time my mom came to pick me up from school, my eyes were swollen and I didn't smile at her like I usually did. I barely even looked at her because I didn't want her to ask me any questions or create a scene. So I just got into the car and stared out the window the whole ride home. But when we got home, she took a better look at me and she saw my eyes. So she sat me down in the dining and kept asking what was wrong. For some reason, I was afraid of telling her, but eventually I gave in and burst into tears. She took me in her arms and consoled me, but I knew she was really angry because I could see her veins stretching out. She asked why I didn't tell her while we were still at the school, but I said I didn't want her to worry. I knew my mom was a legal counselor for a couple of schools, but I didn't know that my new school was top of the list. That night, she sat up all night, working on files I knew nothing about. But the next morning, I was already dressed for school when she told me I wasn't going to school that day. She didn't even look at me as she said it. She was too busy putting together some files, and amongst them, I saw a discriminatory complaint and ID badges. The next morning, she asked me to stay home. I didn't ask her any questions, and she didn't offer any explanation either. The day after that, when I went to school, some students whispered that the new kid's mom threatened Mrs. Patterson. Others said the kid's mother was on the school board and used her power to send her away from the school. But whatever it was, Mrs. Patterson was gone for good, and the janitor had a brand new uniform, and no one ever called me Maria again.